I want to bring up Gaza in a moment, but right now, Middle East foreign policies, even before Gaza, even before October 7th, it was a factor for a lot of brown voters, right? And so, how do you think they reconcile that? Just to go back to my question, do you think it's an issue of, well, I need to improve my family's life chances, therefore I'm going to move to the United States regardless of how much I hate their foreign policy? Do you think it's a kind of, I don't care about foreign policy? Is it, I can try and change things from within? We all have those discussions. I have them with myself all the time. I'm an immigrant. I literally chose to come live in the US despite my critiques of what the US does abroad. How do you think people deal with it? How do you reconcile the iTunes agreement?
I think the thing that I thought about when I was doing that bit, and I still think about, is everybody's trying to do the best they can given the circumstances that they live in. And we know this because we both have kids, like these kids ask us tougher questions than Mehdi Hassan.
Yes.
Like people think Mehdi Hassan asks us tough
100%.
questions. They ask like true paradoxes about like the very meaning of life. But I think the thing that I think about with my kids all the time, and it applies to us signing the iTunes user agreement to live in the empire, is you do the best you can with the resources you're given, and really you try to play your hand the best way you possibly can. And I think for a lot of our parents, specifically my dad, when he came in 82, he was like, look, my older sister is giving me this opportunity. Do I go or do I not? And he played his hand the best way he could. He made that choice. So that's number one. But number two, what you're asking me to do, and Mehdi, I thought you were better than this. You're asking me to...
I don't know what you're going to say, but I'm not better than this.
Well, you're asking me to solve a paradox, and paradoxes cannot be solved.
Wow.
Wow, that was deep. So again, this is a video between Hasan Minhaj and Mehdi Hassan, the two Hassans, right? So this was an interview where Hasan Minhaj basically goes into foreign policy and his thoughts on Israel, Gaza. I personally found it very interesting, so I thought I would share it with you. I'm just skipping just the moment that was very interesting from the whole 1 hour interview. And if you do enjoy that, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Now let's continue.
I don't need Nassim Nicholas Taleb on the show. I have Hasan Minhaj.
That's as my dad says, that is the tension that we live.
That's a very wise guy.
After watching this interview, one thing I did learn about Hasan Minhaj that I do have to give him credit for is a lot of times in his comedy, you don't realize how well read he is and how eloquent he is. And honestly, he's able to portray complex topics in a very comedic manner. And I think that's why he rose to fame the way that he did.
Dad,
I met your dad. He's a very wise guy.
Yeah.
Your impression of him isn't that good, but yeah.
My impression of him is like so off. It's wildly off.
No, but look. Wait.
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
And this buttons the whole thing.
Go on.
And
I'll decide if it buttons.
No. You love to litigate. You love to litigate.
I do.
There's sometimes I want to hang out with a friend. I don't want to hang out with a lawyer.
Okay.
Listen, and your staff is cracking up. By the way, they fucking hate your guts. You are the worst.
I know.
You are the worst.
I know.
At the Christmas party that you're not drinking at, they are fucking, on Signal.
I'm not drinking it, and I'm
destroying.
How much do you think they're going to hate me when I tell them I'm not paying for drink at the Christmas party?
Oh, you're awful.
I know.
You're terrible.
I'm screwed.
Okay. Anyways, what's my point? My dad told me something where he was talking about our generation. He goes, one of the things that I wish your generation understood, but I hope that they understand with time, is you guys are trying to seek justice in this dunya. There is no absolute justice in this dunya. Absolute justice only happens in the akhirah. That was my dad's ultimate.
Akhirah being the afterlife. The one non-Muslim watching the podcast.
So what he's saying is like we're fighting to seek for this thing called justice in this corporal physical world, where that ledger, and as you engage in just mouth breathing Twitter battle, you have two accountants that are mentally ill. You and the person that you're arguing with. You are a mentally ill person, but I love you regardless. And so is the other person on Twitter.
I need to lie down on a couch today with you today, Hasan. I feel like this is proper.
But both sides in an argument truly don't have, because we're fallible as human beings.
Yeah.
It's an argument over the ledger of justice, right? And even we've talked about my sister's an attorney. We have many family members that are attorneys. They too will talk about the fallibility even within the justice system, meaning like it's not perfect. Even with a judge, even with a jury, it is trying to seek, and so the punchline is just like that is the way my dad is able to sleep. And
is that how you sleep?
Yes, there are times where I'm like, let me do the best I can as a person who was born during this period of time, using the gifts that God has given me and the opportunities and the
you and I
platforms.
Have, right? We're not.
Again, this is a very deep point that Hasan Minhaj just made, where he's saying that his father says ultimate justice is only in the afterlife. And that's so true, because many times in this world, when you listen to both points of view, oftentimes justice does seem subjective, right? Like I'll bring up the whole example of Thanos in those Marvel movies. Like he has his reasons for being as bad as he is, and ultimate justice is in the akhirah or the afterlife, as we as Muslims believe.
Without wanting to sound like megalomaniacs, we're not ordinary brown men. We do actually have platforms a lot of other brown folks don't have.
Right.
And therefore, a lot of people expect a lot more from us. One thing I would say is Gaza.
Yes.
Big issue for the Muslim community. Many would say in a place like Dearborn,
correct,
they do not want to vote for Kamala Harris because she was seen as part of a genocide-enabling administration. Understandably so. For a lot of people in Dearborn, they lost dozens and dozens of family members.
Right.
You very early on came out and signed, I think it was the Artists for Ceasefire.
Artists for Ceasefire, yeah.
Was that you saying, all right, I don't know how to solve the Middle East situation, and I'm not a politician or a journalist, but I am someone with a platform. I want to put my voice to. What was the thinking?
In my heart, when I saw the document that was put together, artistforceasefire.org, which is really fantastic, and I think everyone should go check it out. What I loved about it is there's two things that I just like firmly believe in. I do not believe personally in violence. Like I just do not believe it is a solution to problems. Specifically, the type of violence that exists now in post-World War II level militarism with nuclear weapons. This type of violence like can only descend into mutually assured destruction, MAD. So that's number one. And then number two, the thing that I found profound both personally and spiritually is I believe in the sanctity of all human life. And so those two ideas was, hey, look, I may not be able to solve this, but I think this needs to be articulated to the current administration in hopes of letting them know that all of these artists, from Riz Ahmed to Drake to, I guess, myself.
The one I always pop out is Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, shout out to Channing. But believe in these principles, and we hope for a ceasefire and to stop the loss of life.
What's it been like for you watching what's been happening in Gaza for the past year? You said you're on Instagram. That's the one social platform you're on. It's been horrific. We've had a live streamed massacres for a year.
I can't articulate how.
There are no words for it.
There's no words. I mean, I can't put it in a soundbite. Yeah,
no,
I'm sorry.
That's how we're all feeling. One thing you do say in the show, I want to bring.
I hope you enjoyed this video. I found this interview of Hasan Minhaj and Mehdi Hassan on actually Mehdi Hassan's Ateo network. And I usually put the link in the description where you can find the whole video. But because this is a paid subscription, what I will do is ask you to subscribe to Mehdi Hassan's network, Ateo. Help support it. They put out some great content, especially on Israel and Gaza. And again, I thought Hasan Minhaj had some very good, deep points. And I watched the whole interview, so you don't have to, and just found the best moments from that interview, put it into a short clip that's only 10 minutes long. And I really do hope you appreciate that. I've tried my best to save your time. If you do appreciate that, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.